Hello and welcome back to Stitch Chemistry. In this video, we will look at 8 full skein swatches made with Bernat blanket yarn in the color Coastal Cottage. The 8 stitches used for these swatches are single crochet, moss or linen stitch, half double crochet, triple crochet, also known as treble crochet, granny stripes, a classic granny square, and a solid granny square. I used a 5.3 ounce skein for these swatches. If you use a 10.5 ounce skein, the sizes will be approximately double. I used the recommended 8mm hook for all of these swatches. Before we take a closer look at all the individual swatches, here are all 8 full skein swatches together. I did my best to accurately compare the sizes of these swatches, but there might be some errors, so please note that these are approximate size comparisons, not perfect size comparisons. There are chapter links in the description of this video if you would like to skip ahead and learn more about a particular stitch swatch. First, let's take a look at the single crochet swatch. To make this swatch, I chained 44 stitches, and I also added an additional turning chain. There is also a turning chain at the end of every row in my swatch. The final swatch has just over 23 rows, and the approximate size is 20 by 10.5 inches or 50 by 27 centimeters. Next, we have the moss stitch, also known as the linen stitch. I used 44 chains in my foundation row, but I forgot to do my turning chains on this swatch, so there are only 42 stitches per row. This swatch ended up being 30 rows, and the final size was 17.5 by 14 inches, or 45 by 35 centimeters. The half double crochet swatch has 44 chains plus a turning chain, and ends up having a total of 44 stitches per row. This swatch ended up having 17.5 rows, and the approximate size is 20 by 10 inches or 50 by 25 centimeters. I only used 2 turning chains on double crochet instead of 3, so the double crochet swatch was made with 44 chains plus 2 turning chains, which I also used at the end of every row. This ended up being 12.25 rows, and the size is 22 by 11 inches or 56 by 28 centimeters. Next, we have our triple or treble crochet swatch. Triple crochets work up very quickly, but they can leave a significant gap between stitches. So when I made this swatch, I did half in the classic triple crochet stitch and half in linked triple crochets. The bottom 4 rows below the red line are linked, and the top rows above the red line are the classic stitch. This swatch also has 44 stitches per row, but as you can see from the picture, the width changes dramatically between the linked treble crochets and the classic treble crochets. Here you can see more closely the difference between the classic triple crochet and the linked triple crochet. Below the red line is the linked triple crochet, which has no gaps between stitches, and above the red line are the classic triple crochets, which do have a gap between the stitches. For the granny stripe swatch, I used a base chain of 42 stitches plus 3 for the turn. I needed to use a multiple of 3 for this stitch, so there ended up being 42 stitches per row. This swatch is just shy of 12 rows and has the approximate size of 21 by 11 inches or 53 by 28 centimeters. Next, we have the granny square swatch. I did not use a chain space between the clusters on this granny square, and it ended up being about 8.5 rows. When I measured the size for this, I did not include the unfinished row, so the size for the area inside the red box, which is the completed 8 rows, is 14.5 by 14.5 inches or 37 by 37 centimeters. Last, we have our solid granny square swatch. This swatch ended up being about 7 3/4 rows, and the approximate size is only the completed 7 rows shown inside the red box. The size for the 7 rows is 14.5 by 14.5 inches, or 37 by 37 centimeters. Here are all 8 swatches together one more time. This time I have made the sizes more even so the details can be compared more easily. Please note that everyone's tension is different, and the length of your project as well as your hook size will affect the color layout of your project. These swatches are meant to be used as a reference for possible color layouts, as well as an approximate size guide for planning how much yarn you will need for your project. I would love to hear your thoughts about this colorway. Do you enjoy the colors? Do you have a favorite swatch? Please comment and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to this channel. Thank you so much for watching.